We're going to look back at this devastating weekend, look ahead towards repairing the extraordinary damage this week of stormy weather has caused. Some things, of course, are fixable. Some things will never be the same. Tonight, a look at the wet week that was, Thanksgiving week, 1990. It is Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. The holidays are upon us, and the weather is relentless.
A stormy night before Thanksgiving, heavy snow in the mountains today means problems in the lowlands tomorrow.
Once again, the flood warnings are in effect. Today, 8 western Washington rivers are threatening to spill over. The snow and the rain are continuing to fall.
Good evening. Happy Thanksgiving. Next on Kiro News at 5, a Thanksgiving that many have spent waiting for the floods.
The threat of more high water has people on Fur Island and in any number of other places in our area bracing for the worst.
A temporary dike on Fur Island is holding back the swelling Skagit River. Residents are busy filling sandbags and keeping a watchful eye on the dike, wondering if it will survive this time when the new pounding rains come.
We're really getting scared that the water will come up and take the dike out again, right at our spot here. We were lucky the last time it broke about 200 yards down and didn't really even get close to our house, but this one would probably take our house with it.
It is Friday now, the day after Thanksgiving, and people truly have something to be thankful for. Yes, it is raining again, but it is far less rain than expected. It has been a day of waiting to see whether the rain will let up or the clouds will open up. But by Saturday, people are evacuating.
The Skagit is already 10 feet above flood levels, and it is rising. Those living along the river from Concrete on down to Hamilton to Clear Lake and beyond, all were evacuated today.
In Skagit County, rescue teams are going door to door by boat, taking people and animals to high ground, dry land.
I had to clean out all the cupboards. I've got my ewe on the back porch. I got my chickens in my bathroom, in the bathtub.
The town of Sultan is nearly submerged. Only the rooftops show above the water. And in Renton, by nightfall, people are instructed to leave their homes.
Attention, attention. This is the fire department. The water level of the Cedar River is expected to rise up to 2 feet above its current level by 10 p.m.
But Sunday, it would be even worse.
Western Washington under siege. Governor Gardner looked at new devastating flooding from the air and said, "My state is falling apart on me."
The raging Skykomish River takes a life. A barge slams into a train trestle in Everett, and the rain continues to fall.
There are floods in 17 counties in western and in central Washington. Hundreds of people have been evacuated from their homes, some by helicopter.
The biggest portion of the news, though, of Sunday is this. A portion of the old I-90 bridge sinks to the bottom of Lake Washington. Water had been collecting on the bridge for days, the pumps unable to keep up. A segment of the bridge snaps and is swallowed by the lake. On its way to the bottom, it severs cables supporting the new I-90 bridge, which now, too, is closed to traffic. And today it remains closed, and may be closed for another week. Here we go again. So that's where we've been. Here we go. First things first, and the first thing is the bridge. Thousands of people became part of the story today when they tried to get to work or tried to get home. Reporter Mark Sauter has been looking into the bridge's thinking and the reasons for it, as well as when it may become passable again. Mark is at the bridge now. Mark?
Aaron, as you can see from my rosy cheeks, there is a cold, hard, fast, and wet rain blowing into the new I-90 bridge tonight, and that has transportation officials somewhat concerned because, as you mentioned, the cables that hold this bridge in place, the cables that prevent it from flexing in ways that might be dangerous, many of those cables were cut when the old bridge went down. And behind me you can see a giant crane, which is part of an effort to put just incredibly large anchors down into the dark depths of Lake Washington, hook those up to new cables, hook those new cables up to the bridge and get things stabilized. But that's an effort that could take days or weeks. So in the interim, to get folks back moving across this lake, Department of Transportation has brought in tugboats, and they will sail into the wind, hooked up to the bridge to hold it stable. And if the bridge can be stabilized enough tonight, tomorrow, indeed, they will reopen part of this bridge for traffic from Bellevue into Seattle. That call, that decision on whether to open the bridge will be made tomorrow morning at 4 in the morning. You want to be watching Kiro First in the Morning News for that decision. And of course, while all this effort is going on, there are plenty of people sweating the exact cause of this incident, several investigations. One expert has already told us that the cause, what he believes the cause of the old bridge sinking yesterday, was a predictable one that could have been avoided. And we've learned, in addition, that one contributing factor to that disaster was probably a dispute between state officials and a contractor actually rehabilitating the bridge. This isn't the first floating bridge to sink in our state. In 1958, a pontoon being built for the Hood Canal Bridge sank in the Duwamish. In 1979, the Hood Canal Bridge itself went down, and just yesterday, old I-90 sank. Bridge expert and UW professor Billy Hartz says there's a connection. All those bridges had holes or open hatches.
The state of Washington again. There they go. They haven't learned their lesson. I mean, it was real clear. I mean, of course, you soon saw that they had openings in the bridge. They don't appreciate the need to keep these compartments dry and watertight. And we've been trying to tell them that since 1958.
In the case of I-90, water got into the bridge from the rain, cracks in the pontoon, or a combination of both. Those leaks lowered the bridge, allowing water to rush into open portholes. Kiro consultant and former I-90 director Brian Henkel says those ports were supposed to be covered.
It's my understanding that they requested of the contractor that he keep all those closed when he wasn't actually physically utilizing them to gain access to the pontoons.
But those ports had been left open, which contributed to the accident.
Yeah, in this case, yes, that is true.
I don't think we can eliminate anything as a problem at this time. Human error, neglect, negligence, I think everything's open to investigation right now. And certainly we can argue that we've learned a lot from these failures, and it's a miserable way to learn.
And the taxpayers who will have to foot the bill for at least $50 million for this terrible disaster may only learn the truth when this is all hashed out in court. Our Kiro consultant, Mr. Henkel, the former executive, says he thinks it may well end up in court. And in addition, because many of the critical parts of evidence are now buried deep in this lake and probably cracked when they hit the bottom, it may never become known exactly what caused what will certainly be known as the Great Bridge Disaster of 1990, Aaron.
Well, I fully expect it's going to end up in court. Milli Vanilli ends up in court. This surely is going to. I want to go back to whether the bridge is going to open tomorrow. Give me a sense of what has to happen in the next, I guess, 8 hours for them to open the bridge.
Well, two things have to happen. First of all, the Department of Transportation needs to assemble its forces and get them hooked up to the bridge and in position. And then Mother Nature needs to give us a break and needs not to pound this bridge with excessive winds. If those two things happen, the Department of Transportation pledges that if it's at all possible, if it's safe, this bridge will reopen tomorrow morning.
In any case, we're no longer talking about weeks. It may not get done early tomorrow morning, but it's going to get done sooner rather than later, it sounds like.
That's certainly the sense out here, Aaron.
Thanks, Mark.